So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 33 and the final episode of our season 2 here on F1 Manager 23. Now, if you didn't go and watch the last episode, I mean, just go and watch it. I'm still high from recording it because we won. We actually won a race in Las Vegas. Pierre Gasly was on the top step of the podium, beating the two Red Bulls on the last lap. I'm going to try and get a short uploaded as well if I've not done it already. So please do go back and watch that because that is simply the greatest race of the season. The greatest race of our F1 Manager career here on the channel. So go back and watch that. Let's not forget Esteban Ocon as well. P7, it was a good result for him on the day. This weekend we head to Yas Marina. Let's just check on the standings to see what is all to play for. Ferrari and Aston Martin battling it out for P2 in the Constructors. That is something we've got to keep an eye on. We're not quite going to catch Mercedes. Mercedes have not won a race this season. Andretti Cadillac have. That's why Mercedes are possibly looking at taking us on as a team principal for next year. Driver standings wise, Max Verstappen's got it wrapped up. Perez is in P2. The only real battle left is possibly Stroll. Stroll and Leclerc. Stroll can get P3 in the standings and Carlos Sainz can also get P4. So there's something to be going on there. We are pretty much in a battle with Lewis Hamilton with Esteban Ocon. If Esteban Ocon could beat Lewis Hamilton, that would be ideal. And if we can stay 15 points ahead of him with Pierre Gasly, that would be lovely as well. F2 standings are, as you can see here. If you do like looking at these, just pause the video for a second and you can see all the standings. That is the constructor standings for F2 and F3. There we go, along with the drivers, and Taylor Barnard has done rather well this season, it must be said. He still doesn't look old enough to drive an actual car, but there we go. As we said, we go to Yas Marina. There's nothing to lose for us here. We've got 58 laps around here. Expect a strategy. You can try a one-stop or a two-stop's probably the way to go. We haven't got the previous race results for some reason. But yeah, that is practically everything. I'm going to get through practice, and I will see you in qualifying for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Here we are then, final laps in Q2, and Esteban Ocon and Gasly both need a decent lap here. Wasn't the greatest of first laps for either of them, but Esteban Ocon coming up to cross the line, green through the first and second sectors, goes P10. Can his teammate knock him out at this moment in time? Pierre Gasly coming around the final couple of corners. He's got a Haas behind him of Kevin Magnussen. Will he be in front of it by the time this lap ends? Pierre Gasly stays P15. That is a huge shock in qualifying for Pierre Gasly. Esteban Ocon P11. Both cars out in Q2, but we've got grid penalties. So let's have a look at how the grid is going to line up. And the grid is going to line up with George Russell on pole position. We've got a lot of grid penalties in front of us here, which we will both be looking at to take advantage of. But yeah, George Russell from Max Verstappen. That's going to be tasty into turn one. Let's have a look at how the strategy is shaping up for Sunday. Right, guys, so strategy-wise, we're going to change it up a little bit here. Esteban Ocon, remember, this could be his last race for Andretti. It could be our last race for Andretti. But Esteban Ocon, he's going to start on the softs, then go on to the mediums, then to the hard. I'm going to try soft, medium with Gasly, just purely because I think he's a little bit better on his tyres, but we may adjust both of these. Safety cars, as we know, can come out around here at very difficult moments. So P8, P12, both pushing on everything. Nothing to lose, nothing really to gain. Let's see how we get on and how, more importantly, how Ferrari and Aston Martin get on.
Only 58 laps stand between the drivers and the checkered flag here under the lights at the Yas Marina circuit. The Haas driver with a chance to impress a few people here.
What a day for them, starting on the second row. Holding on to fourth will be a challenge in the race though.
And it looks like we're good to go. Hold on tight. It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and we are going to watch this turn one battle, but it's George Russell who's got well ahead of Max Verstappen. It's a poor start from Verstappen. He's now battling back with Carlos Sainz, but Esteban Ocon straight away past Lewis Hamilton. We have got the beating of Lewis Hamilton, and if we go to Mercedes next year, my word, I can't see Hamilton being in the car at all. Possibly Ocon or Gasly maybe at this rate. It's not been the best of starts for Pierre Gasly either. He's currently just tucked in behind Nico Hülkenberg in that Haas. at this moment in time. Has not enjoyed their best season either, it must be said. We'll have to see what happens with them next season. We have got some changes coming, as you would expect. We like to keep changing it up and making it a little bit fresh season from season. Hamilton and Ocon still going at it here. I'm hoping that Esteban Ocon's going to get past him pretty quickly here, but let's have a little look as he tucks in behind the British driver. Ocon now down the right-hand side of him. I don't feel there's any point at this moment in burning all the ZRS. We're going to settle into this race. Try and do it a little bit differently this race, I think. We normally push and use all the ZRS and everything. We're going to try something a little bit different. We can test a couple of things out here. But straight away, Esteban Ocon just sitting in behind Lewis Hamilton and in front of Charles Leclerc. Gasly in P11. In the battle for P2, both Aston Martins at this moment are out of the points. But we will get a replay of Pierre Gasly overtaking Nico Hülkenberg. Let's have a little look at this. Down the inside, Pierre Gasly, my God. I mean, after that last episode, I've always loved Pierre Gasly as a driver, especially on these F1 Manager series as well. And Pierre Gasly, once again, showing why he is probably my preferred driver at this moment on this series. But as we come to the end of lap 1, it's Russell from Verstappen, Gasly in P11 and Ocon P8. We've had a crash on circuit, and it looks like it is Lewis Hamilton. Let's have a look at this. Lewis Hamilton sticking around the outside. Amazing that, isn't it? In Abu Dhabi, in real life, he probably would have just gone straight across and gained an advantage. Or not gained an advantage, depending on what side of the fence you may fall on. But Esteban Ocon at this moment, he's stuck behind Zhou Guanyu. And really, I would imagine, would like to get past this Williams because it's causing him a little bit of problem at the moment. Gasly's just chilling out now behind Nico Hülkenberg. He's going to score some points today. But Lewis Hamilton, in what could be his last race for Mercedes, is now stone dead last. Lap 3, Verstappen leading from Russell, but Russell staying in the DRS. And Esteban Ocon, he's in a quicker car than the Williams, and unlike Lewis Hamilton, decided not to smash into the Williams of Zhou Guanyu and got past him beautifully. Fantastic work from Esteban, and he can now bomb away. He's got Leclerc and that Williams behind him as well. So Leclerc's already passed him, actually, and Leclerc looks like he's going for a move on Esteban Ocon. Let's just keep his eye on this battle as we see Charles Leclerc round the outside. Oh, these two are going to make contact. No, they squeeze each other but leave each other just enough room. And we will now use this Ferrari to catch up to the cars in front. Oh, will we? Because Esteban Ocon's coming straight back at him. And look at this. Here goes Esteban Ocon. And with that DRS, we look pretty slippery in a straight line. We'll now switch over to Pierre Gasly and Nico Hülkenberg because these two have been at it quite a lot during this race. And Pierre Gasly late on the brakes. Have a bit of that, son. I'll be past you. It must be said, neither are on massively aggressive on the overtakes at this moment in time. They are just doing the business. Lap 5, still Verstappen from Russell, but Ocon and Leclerc are gaining on Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen, Leclerc and Ocon have caught him, and now we are past him. We are past Kevin Magnussen with Esteban Ocon, and he's now on the back of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Kevin Magnussen, it's got to be said, has been one of the most impressive drivers in individual races at times this season. Esteban Ocon now has got a bit of work to do, though. He's got to try and catch up with Charles Leclerc. So we're going to try and push on a little bit here, get back in that DRS, because then we can see some Red Bulls up the road. Pierre Gasly is getting frustrated behind Lando Norris at this moment in time, who is on the medium compound tyre. I would expect Gasly to get past him very, very shortly. New fastest lap of the Grand Prix for Esteban Ocon, and he's right on the back of Charles Leclerc, who's right on the back of Checo Perez. Possible chance for another podium here today, and Esteban Ocon at the moment pushing on at a rate of knots. And we are, of course, going to be trying the undercut with Esteban Ocon as well. So that's something to just bear in mind. But he's sat in behind these two lovely. Verstappen, he's all over George Russell at the front, which we ride on board with Max Verstappen, the world champion once again. Gets the DRS, and before the braking zone, he's past George Russell. But Ocon, 7/10 behind at the moment. Leclerc doing well. Gasly, he's fighting Norris all the way. And now it looks like he's finally got past him. And hopefully, we'll get DRS down this next straight. Let's just have a little look here. I don't think he's going to do it. Is he going to be Lando Norris again? No, they've both got it. So that's going to help Pierre Gasly. He's now up into P8, and he's got Magnussen in front of him. Beautiful work from him. Looking good, lap 10. The sun is setting here in Yas Marina, and it looks like Zhou Guanyu, who's had been in the wars a little bit today. He's not crashed into Lewis Hamilton again, has he? Surely not. No, he's just locked up and gone straight on at turn 1. It doesn't look like it's going to cause a safety car. which Esteban Ocon is coming in this lap anyway. He's lost a lot of time to Leclerc. He hasn't quite had the pace. Can see Pierre Gasly breathing down his neck behind him as well. He's not looked after the tyres possibly as well. So Esteban Ocon will be coming in this lap. Pierre Gasly just fighting along with Magnussen. We are looking around probably 6th and 7th today. But you never know with these undercuts. You never know what can happen. But Esteban Ocon is going to be pushing like mad when he comes out of the pits. And into the pits comes Esteban Ocon on lap 16. On to the medium compounded tyre. Let's hope we have a decent pit stop. Let's have a look. Are we going to get a decent pit stop? My word, we are not going to get a decent pit stop. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. 7 seconds for Esteban Ocon. That has absolutely killed him. That is shocking. And we've not had too many of these lately. But Esteban Ocon will rejoin. He's going to come out probably around dead last here. But he's got to make some time up now on these tyres, lap 16. And into the pits comes Pierre Gasly. Verstappen is in as well. He's gone into a set of medium compounded tyres. Pierre Gasly, hopefully we don't have a repeat of the Ocon pit stop. Let's have a little look. He's onto another set of soft compound tyres, remember, is Pierre Gasly. And that's a better stop, 3 seconds from the team. Pierre Gasly back out, hopefully should come out possibly in front of his teammate here, although Esteban is now getting traffic, so we shall see. Where is Pierre Gasly? It's under the tunnel, remember. It's a lovely way to exit a pit lane around here. Up out of the tunnel he comes. Where is Esteban Ocon? Esteban Ocon, it looks like he is he out in front of him? He certainly is. So Ocon's out in front, Gasly's just behind, but Gasly now on the soft compounded tyre. Lap 18, pit stops will be coming very, very shortly. And Esteban Ocon is starting to make up time for that lost time at the pit stop. And as we can see, as the sun is setting, he gets past, I believe that's Oscar Piastri, and he's now got in front of him Daniel Ricciardo in the Hugo Boss. He did get the DRS as well, and he's been told to start passing, taking a few more risks attacking cars at this moment. Has Esteban Ocon, as we can see here, looking at the bike of Daniel Ricciardo. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly's pushing on absolutely everything at the moment, just trying to catch back up with this lot in front, because he has then got to start being aggressive on the overtakes as well. Lap 19, if we're going to make the undercut work, we've got to do it now. Oscar Piastri is dropping like a stone. He's seen one Andretti Cadillac go past him, and now he's seen another. Pierre Gasly is past Oscar Piastri. You can see his teammate up the road battling in front of him, and we are now going to switch live to that battle, because Esteban Ocon, he's got past Daniel Ricciardo. He's now looking at Mick Schumacher. Can he get this job done? Round the outside goes Esteban Ocon, and that is some overtake. He's past one Audi, and he's going to be looking at the Audi of Valtteri Bottas next. Gasly's just going to be told now to just calm it down a bit on the fuel and the tyres. But yeah, this is working a treat at this moment. We're starting to see some of the front runners come in, such as George Russell, who doesn't look like he's having the quickest pit stop in the world, George Russell. Now, where is he going to come out in relation to Esteban Ocon? Valtteri Bottas pits, Yuki Tsunoda's further up the road. Where is George Russell going to come out in relation to Esteban Ocon and also Pierre Gasly, who's stuck behind Daniel Ricciardo at the moment? George Russell coming under the tunnel. Esteban Ocon's already passed him. Pierre Gasly, will he get past him here? It doesn't look like he will. Pierre Gasly's got to clear this Alpha Tauri. It's sharpish. Daniel Ricciardo can be a pain in the arse to get past, as Pierre Gasly's been finding out, but we managed with DRS to get past him. And we can see in front George Russell battling with Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon doing okay at the moment, but Gasly back up now into P11. Great work from him. Gap to Russell is 1.3 seconds. Verstappen's just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But if Gasly could catch up with these two, we will be okay. We'll be very much okay. So Pierre Gasly got a bit of work to do here. I believe George Russell's on the soft compound tyre as well, which he is. But at the moment, he's been held up by Esteban Ocon. It's almost like it's working. Have we got anybody yet to pit at the front? We have. We've got Leclerc, Sainz and Norris, along with Magnussen, yet to pit. So a few cars yet to pit. But Ocon is doing his teammate a favour here by holding him up. We have a crash, and it is Daniel Ricciardo on lap 23. Let's have a little look at this one. Daniel Ricciardo just driving on his own, basically. Whether the tyres have gone, just got a bit clever on the throttle, and that is not causing a safety car at this moment, surprisingly. A safety car now wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world for us. But Ocon and Gasly are now running together in this DRS train, which is fine. We've got the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll keeping an eye on proceedings as well. We are going to use this time now to start saving a little bit of fuel and DRS and ERS, sorry. And our two cars, as long as they don't come together, which neither they've been told not to really attack each other. I don't mind them swapping on DRS straights. That makes sense. But at this moment in time, just working together and keeping this Aston Martin behind would be lovely. Lap 23, Perez leads, but he's yet to pit, as is Sainz and Norris and Magnussen. So at the moment, P8 and 9 is not reflective of where we actually are in terms of this race. Now, it must be said, what we didn't want to do was let Lance Stroll get past both Andretti Cadillacs, which is what he's actually just managed to do. So Lance Stroll now is up into P6. Our two have just been exchanging places for the last few laps on the DRS straights. No problem with that, but now the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll is in front of us. We've got to try and latch onto his DRS now, and straight away Pierre Gasly's saying, I'm not having this, I'm going to attack you back. Perez now coming into the pits for a set of medium compounded tyres. Decent stop from the Red Bull guys, that looks incredibly quick. But yeah, we'll settle into this now. We're quite happy in the situation we're in. And we've got one last sort of throw of the dice for both cars to try and get the undercut and possibly do a little bit better. So half distance, just about looking okay for points. Esteban Ocon, he's coming in to the pits, and the reason why is I think I've spotted a nice little gap between Bottas and Tsunoda, which I would rather like to get him out into. We are going to go mediums to the end now with Pierre Gasly as well. He's doing okay and his tyres are just starting to drop off. But in comes Esteban Ocon. Are we going to get a better pit stop this time round? Let's have a look. It's better. 3 seconds, that's fine. Pierre Gasly now pushing on these just for the end of this lap. And hopefully can go on to the mediums and do rather well. We're asking Pierre Gasly to do on mediums what Ocon is going to do on hards, but Ocon can push a little bit harder on these, whereas Gasly, he's just got to manage him a little bit more, but we know Pierre's rather good at that. But out comes Esteban Ocon in P14, just in the gap with 40 might be, and now can push on towards the end. Lap 35, Leclerc leads from Verstappen. And in comes Pierre Gasly for the medium compounded tyre. That didn't look overly quick at the back. Didn't look overly quick at the front. 4.5 seconds. I think our guys have had enough now. They're ready for a good break. And Pierre Gasly's not particularly happy with them either. But Pierre Gasly now, where is he going to come out? I would suggest he's going to come out a little bit behind his teammate here. Pierre Gasly exiting the pit lane. And yes, Ocon's well ahead of him, to be fair. Great work from Esteban Ocon. He's in front of him now with the undercut. And that's it. That's the pit stops done for the Andretti Cadillacs, the last pit stops of the season. We come out P11 and 12. Let's see now where we go towards the end of this race. Both cars are going to be told to push with this undercut and try and make it count. But we have got 22 laps to go, one on medium, one on hard. Ocon now starting to make moves on this hard compound tyre. He caught up with Yuki Tsunoda, who was significantly easier to pass than his teammate Danny Ricciardo. Esteban Ocon now, I believe that is up into the points. Got the job done before the braking zone. He's up into the points now. A lot of cars to pit in front of him as well. Russell and Magnussen on... Oh, Russell isn't going to pit. Magnussen is. Albon overtakes Gasly. Let's have a little look at this. Gasly and Albon have been fighting along here. But it looks like Albon just got the DRS. And once he got to the braking zone, Alexander Albon just kept it round the inside. And he didn't fight that too much, Pierre Gasly. Very interesting indeed. On the medium compounded tyre, I would expect that Gasly were fighting that a little bit harder, but didn't at the moment. Lap 39. We've had a few more cars pitting on lap 42. The full rundown at the moment is Perez is in P1. Let's just have a look at the tyres. So Perez has still got to pit again, I would suggest. Leclerc's in P2. He is on the hard compound, so he's going to the end. As is Sainz and Verstappen. Gap between those is around what? It's a 5-second gap to Sainz and a 1.5 to Verstappen. Stroll is possibly going to the end now. Russell, Ocon certainly is. Magnussen, I doubt is. Magnussen struggling for pace a little bit at this moment in time. Albon in P9, and as you can see, Pierre Gasly right on the back of that Williams. But Ocon's on for a very good result today. Pierre Gasly certainly is on for some more points, so it's going to be a decent end to the season for both of us at this moment in time. At the very back, Daniel Ricciardo from Zhou and Lewis Hamilton, who's not enjoying his time in Abu Dhabi. He doesn't always enjoy his time here, as we all know, but yeah, disappointing race for the Mercedes driver. As it must be said, for Oscar Piastri, who seems to have really tailed off, as do McLaren as a whole. This season, it's not been a good season at all for them, but it would be a step backwards now from Andretti, at least in terms of championship standings going to McLaren. Lap 53, and Lando Norris is having a right battle now with Esteban Ocon. He's on the soft compound tyres. They're going to die off towards the end. We know if we can just keep him in this sort of area, by the time we get to the end, we're going to have the much better tyres and we should be able to sort him out. So I'm not too concerned at this moment in time with Esteban Ocon. Pierre Gasly just hasn't got the pace to catch up to the cars in front. He's struggling like mad to catch Alexander Albon. It's not working so far. I'm more concerned about Alonso behind at this moment. But Ocon just lost a position to Norris again. But as we now go on board with him, let's have a look, because we're going to have the DRS down this straight. Let's see if we get him. He's just turned the DRS on. We saw his hand move there. Not going to get past him this time, but like I say, he's just monitoring this. I'm not concerned that we're not going to beat Norris today. Must be said, Leclerc is leading away, and it looks like Leclerc is possibly going to win this. Verstappen and Sainz not doing it on the soft compound tyres. Leclerc's got this in the bag. But still, it's a P7 battle for Esteban Ocon. So this is it then. Last lap of the Grand Prix. And Esteban Ocon straight away is starting to like the look of this attack on Lando Norris. He's going to get the chance with the DRS to get him. Pierre Gasly has managed to overtake Alexander Albon. He's sitting pretty now, Pierre Gasly. We're just going to tell him to conserve on his fuel a little bit just to make sure he passes. But Esteban Ocon, he's going to be told to push, because this is the moment where he's got to do it. The last lap. Is this going to be his last lap in an Andretti Cadillac car? Is this going to be our last lap as an Andretti Cadillac team principal? That is all yet to be seen at the end of this season. We're going to tell him he's got the ERS to use, and if he stays behind him here, he will get DRS and DRS down this next straight, and that should pretty much secure him. We see Charles Leclerc coming across the line, but here he goes. Esteban Ocon, can he get Lando Norris? He's got all the ERS in the world to burn. He looks like he's going down the inside. And here goes Esteban Ocon. Wide open, that DRS. And now he's up into P7. Great work from him. Pierre Gasly looks like he's doing just enough to hold off the advances of Alexander Albon in that Williams. We are going to tell him to always defend here. But Esteban Ocon looks like he's got the job done. He's been pushing on the fuel, and he's managed to get across the line here. Esteban Ocon's going to score some very, very nice points indeed for Andretti. And as he crosses the line, P7 is not bad at all. Well done for Esteban. And Pierre Gasly is defending so much, but crosses the line in P9. And with that, that brings to an end the 2024 season. Charles Leclerc won the race. Let's get to the podium. But it's more points for our guys. We've really done okay this season. Be proud of that.
Now that's an excellent drive today from Esteban Ocon.
I tell you what, they had to work hard for those points today. What a phenomenal achievement that is.
Well, they've been waiting for this, haven't they? And it's only right that they make the most of it. And the Monegasque driver certainly proved his worth with a terrific drive today.
That's their second win of the season. A brilliant talent who looks so at home on the track.
Hard to believe that's another one over. The season's ended, the party's just beginning, here in Abu Dhabi.
And there we go, Charles Leclerc. We've seen Red Bulls not win the last two races. Who would have thought it? Charles Leclerc winning, gaining 8 positions. Got to be up there for driver of the day. Verstappen second, Perez third. And I think that pretty much guarantees Ferrari second place in the driver's standings. Lance Stroll gaining 15 positions. What a drive from him. Ocon 7th, Gasly 9th. And Albon in P10. Where did Kevin Magnussen finish? Kevin Magnussen dropped 8 places, so disappointing for him. Driver's standings then. We saw Max Verstappen. He's got the title wrapped up. He had it wrapped up with about 6 races to go. Checo Perez gets P2. Leclerc P3. Stroll P4. And Carlos Sainz P5. Alonso P6. Gasly finishes in P8. Ocon finishes in P9 and jumps Lewis Hamilton. Both Andretti Cadillacs have beaten Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes this year. Oh dear, Lewis. Let's have a look who's bottom, because we should have a look at that. Daniel Ricciardo and Mick Schumacher, the only 2 drivers not to score a point this season. Constructors standings wise, Red Bull 916 points, my word. Ferrari in P2, 577. Then come Aston Martin on 525. We finished in respectable P5. We got 1 win in Las Vegas, 169 points. We were... God, what's that? 65 points behind Mercedes. So I'm not too disheartened with that at all. Haas in P6, McLaren P7. They'll be very disappointed with that, McLaren. P8 for Williams, Hugo Boss P9, and Audi. Audi just on the 4 points for the season. Oh dear, oh dear. And with that, that is the end of this season. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to have a look at what we're doing for next season. Obviously, we've been looking at Mercedes a little bit as well, because I think that would be a realistic sort of move for us going to Mercedes, especially with the sort of poor season they've had. So that's something to look at. We've got driver negotiations to go as well, but we will come back for the new series on Thursday. And yeah, do it all again. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra!